네, 안녕하세요. 제임스 커비 마스터 클래스에 오신 걸 환영합니다. 오늘은 송세준, 황수민, 전수민 이렇게 세 학생의 마스터 클래스를 볼 건데요. 저희가 오늘 이제 영국에 계신 피아니스트 제임스 커비를 모시고 마스터 클래스를 진행하게 되었습니다. 잠깐 간략하게 제임스 커비에 대해서 소개를 좀 드리자면요. 일단 차이콥스키 콩쿠르의 세미파이널리스트, 그다음에 바비칸 피아노 트리오의 피아니스트로 활동을 활발하게 하고 계시고요. 러시아 라흐마니노프 인스티튜트의 명예교수, 현재는 로얄 할로웨이 웨일즈 왕립음대 그리고 이튼 스쿨에서 이제 피아노를 교수 자리에 영입하고 계십니다. 그러면 저희가 제임스 커비 인사를 조금 듣고 마스터 클래스를 진행을 한번 해보겠습니다. So could you introduce yourself, Mr. James?
Hello, everybody. It's really wonderful to be here. In fact, interestingly, on my Facebook page this morning, it said that I was going to Seoul 4 years ago today, and I came on a holiday and I had a wonderful time. So it's so lovely to be with you virtually. I really enjoyed listening to you all in the competition. I thought you all played very well, so I'm very much looking forward to working with you now.
저희 첫 번째 학생 송세준 학생의 연주를 한번 들어보고 마스터 클래스를 진행해 보도록 하겠습니다. So we have the first pianist, 송세준 here. So he's going to play Beethoven. So here.
Wonderful. Hello, welcome. It's lovely to see you.
만나서 반갑습니다, 세준아.
Maybe so we can work in a little bit of detail. Should we just play? Would you like to play the exposition, perhaps up to the repeat sign, and then we'll talk about that. Great. Okay. Thank you very much. That's lovely. That's very good playing. I'm so happy to work on this piece because it's one of my personal favorites. It's of course Beethoven wrote 32 sonatas, but this is the seventh one, but it's arguably one of the greatest. But I just wanted to ask you, what do you think is the mood? What is the character of this movement? And the wonderful thing is there is no correct answer. It is what you feel. It might be different from me.
Happy.
Okay, so I don't really like using words for music, but this works really well for this theme. I used to be a businessman, but now I'm on the stage. Because it's a very interesting character. It's very sort of busy, very energetic, very lively, very urgent, but also it's got some theatre as well. And very interesting thing, it's very quiet. There's no crescendo. And the sforzando, what does sforzando mean? It means accent, but not too much. Maybe it can be within the context of piano. And the other thing that's amazing about this sonata, just before, have you played the other three movements? Yeah, you will do. You will play them wonderfully. But the whole sonata, all 25 minutes, is built up on this motive. It comes all the way through in the slow movements. themes from all the different movements. So it's very, very important to characterize this, to show that legato and then the shape of it. And this, that chord there, that's got to be like someone tapping you on the shoulder saying, think about this, remember it. It's got to be very significant, but very soft. It's like something which we keep coming back to and remembering. So try and make this really special. Because you play this piece very, very well, and I'm not at all worried about the technique and the finger work. Most people find this difficult. I'm very, very happy with that. But I think we can go deeper into the character of the piece. And one final thing, if you look at the score really carefully, it's very surprising how much of it is quiet. Right, so try beginning.
오케이, 다시 한번 쳐볼까요?
Now, do you play the violin?
바이올린 연주해요?
No, I don't either, but I play with violinists. And if a good violinist was playing this, they would do a bit of vibrato on the first note, a bit of vibrato. And so how do we do vibrato on the piano? Try a bit of pedal. So this is my pedal. I'm just going to pedal across the first two notes, just to give it a bit of warmth, just for the first two notes, and then no pedal, the pedal here, and then pedal on that one.
이렇게 여기 첫 이 음과 여기서 여기까지 페달을 한번 밟아볼 수 있어요?
Right. I know Zoom isn't very good for sound sometimes, but can you play it 50 times quieter? And I'll tell you how to do that. You can do that by, watch my hand. And very, very close to the key. And the other thing is, you know, the first 8 crotchets, you only have 1 in each hand, so 2 together. And then suddenly there are 4. So you've got to be very careful there that it doesn't sound immediately louder. So you play these ones. And then this one must be quieter. Otherwise it sounds suddenly louder. And then the other thing is, when you listen to most performances of this piece, almost everybody in the world does a crescendo. And have a look at the music. Is there a crescendo written? No. Yeah, so what I've got written, I wrote in my music non-crescendo. So maybe
여기에 크레션도가 아니라고 써놓으셨대요.
in fact, because the music goes higher, because it's going up, you almost have to do a diminuendo. And then that's very meaningful. If you play it loudly, it's like writing an email to somebody all in big letters, like you're shouting.
Right.
Yeah, so just send your email in small letters, but just that can be big.
한번 다시 한번 연주를 한번 해볼까요?
Right. Good. Now try and make this deeper, more meaningful, not so loud, but more deep into the key. Good. Slightly slower attack. A slightly slower attack. Imagine if you're a little bit tired. Good, that's getting a better sound. Now do it faster. Because you had a really good tempo before, and we've been talking about it a lot. So now speed it back up again, but do that sound. Okay, continue. You can continue, yeah. Yeah, this is all piano song. It's sort of got to be underground, very, very quiet. And then, of course, when you do that, that's going to be very busy and a surprise. Right, good. So this is very important. In bar 9, do you have bar numbers? Yes. Bar 9, the left hand, crotchet, crotchet, crotchet. So if you're going to pedal, 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 make sure you don't pedal over the rests. Good. Can you do shorter pedals? Pedal, pedal, pedal. Trying to imagine that your right foot is connected to your left hand. Very good, much better. Let's do this. Just play left hand and pedal.
레프트 핸드, 왼손과 페달만 한번 해볼래요?
That's right. Try and move your foot less, just like that. Just one toe.
발을 조금 더 뒤, 발가락으로 한번 살짝만 밟아보세요. 페달을.
Because some people pedal here, because the harmony changes every crotchet. They do pedal, 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 pedal every time, and you have to do very, very quickly. Yeah, just try that. Go from here, pedal every single crotchet, and see if you can do it.
Yes.
You know, I think that might sound very good. It's very difficult to do, but some people are what we call virtuoso pedalers, and their foot is just as good as their fingers. And you might, yeah, so I think it's something you can explore and talk to your teacher about and decide and become a virtuoso pedaler. Right, now next question, when you play this bit, is there an accent, a sforzando in both hands in bar 12 or not?
Also one, second one? The second one?
This one. Is the accent in both hands, right hand and left hand, or just the left hand?
Only left hand.
Only left hand.
Just the left hand. So don't do one in the right hand. This now very important thing. Have you heard of the composer Schoenberg? He was a very great composer, but he was a very, very intelligent musician, and he decided that we have lots of accent signs in music, but we don't have any non-accent signs. So he wrote one, he invented one. I'll show you it now. This can you see that there? That U. That means no accent. Okay? So do accent just in the left hand, but not in the right hand.
Okay.
So there, keep the right hand really close to the key. And do a big movement in the left hand. So the two hands are independent of each other. Good. Now continue. Right. Now, good. Look at the dynamics in bar 18. What does he write?
여기 뭐라고 적혀 있죠? 크레센도.
Right. That is the reason why you must not do one in the first 4 bars, because they have to sound really different. The first one is very held in, and then the second one, you can really enjoy the crescendo. And this time, of course, he goes to fortissimo, which has to be different from forte. So just be careful when you play forte in bar 11. It's different from 2 Fs in bar 22. This has to be really big. One more question, bar 22, this very top F sharp, mine is printed in small print. Is yours in small print as well? It's a very interesting reason.
이거 아주 흥미있는 이유가 있대요.
It's because the top note on Beethoven's piano was F natural. So Beethoven is already thinking beyond the size of the piano and imagining something that is not there, but he knew it would be there in the future. So this is a very big moment. Sort of beyond possible. So this is a huge heroic moment which has to be larger than life. I'll tell you, very good. One way you can get a better crescendo is to do more crescendo in the left hand, not just the right. Also, isn't it really interesting, if you look at the score, the left hand is in crotchets, but the right hand is in quavers.
그리고 지금 왼손은 몇 박자죠? 왼손은 한 박자죠? 오른손은 반 박자죠? 그 두 개가 다르거든요.
So he wants bigger depth than the left hand. Yeah, so try that again and listen to yourself very carefully. Very good. Don't do the crescendo before he writes it. So one bar has no crescendo and then crescendo later. Anyway, you can do that. Let's go on. This is piano. What key are we in now?
여기에 혹시 조성이 뭔지 알아요? F sharp minor?
Nearly B minor. B minor. This is very, very. Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. It's a very sad key. Yes.
아주 슬픈 키죠.
But it's funny because the melody is quite happy, so it's got to be a mixture of happy and sad. It's very interesting character. It's a bit like some. Yeah, so I think only a little bit happy. I think you sound too happy. I'll tell you what, I'll play it for you in two different ways. Here's a happy one. I'll try a sad one now. They probably both sounded the same on Zoom, but they should be different. One very important thing, in bar 23 and 24, we've got D, F, D. It's very important to try and make the two Ds sound different from each other. Because if I play it like this, it's very boring. But I'll try and make it interesting and play them differently. Perhaps the second one softer or something. So it's a very important rule, really, that when we have the same note coming in a melody, to always to play it differently. Well, so do all those things, play those 8 bars, but always piano. Okay, try a little bit of pedal. Pedal, pedal. Just a tiny bit on the beginning of each bar.
과한 페달이
I call it a squeeze of pedal, like a squeeze of toothpaste. You just want a little bit of toothpaste, not a whole tube, don't you? Yeah, I always tell my students to pedal with their ear, so you have to listen very carefully to what you're doing. Yeah, and to be honest, I find it quite hard to teach pedaling because I do it sort of by instinct, and we just have to listen very carefully, and we have to adapt to the acoustic of the hall. For example, when we get to here, I pedal on that sforzando there. But again, notice several things. It's within piano, so it's a small sforzando. Not that, okay? And also, it's all very, very quiet and very, very thoughtful. Maybe try. Can you go from there?
여기서부터 시작해 볼까요?
Okay, good. Good. This one's in the minor. The next one's in the major. So it's more lyrical, it's more warm. So very important, don't do cut and paste, play them differently. Okay, good. Just thinking about toothpaste again. Just squeeze gently on it. Don't do that. I like toothpaste everywhere.
한번 해봐요, 여기서.
Yeah. Just play the left hand for me. Yeah, a sort of slow approach. I'm moving it in a lazy way, really. If I do it, that's not so good. Wonderful, fantastic. That's beautiful. Yeah. So do lots of those. In fact, in this movement, there are probably 100 sforzando markings, aren't there? Do them all differently. There's a big challenge for you. 100 different sounds. Okay, right. Try from there.
여기서 다시 한번 해볼까요?
Good, very good, very good. So there are two different characters here. There's it's rather sad, and then that's a bit like laughter, a little bit. So you can laugh more, you can do no pedal there, make that really clear. So these pieces, they're like people, they're unpredictable, they're complicated, they have lots of sides to their character. Very good, very good, very good. Here's a good example. Don't play those two sforzandos the same, do them differently. So tell me what you would like to do. What would you like to do with this one? What would you like to do with that one compared to this one? So you tell me your idea and then I'll tell you mine.
너의 아이디어를 저기 말해주시면 교수님.
And the wonderful thing is, it doesn't matter if we have different ideas.
I think first one is small.
Yeah.
Small, very small. And
yes.
Second one is forte. Forte, and third one is fortissimo.
Fantastic. Try that.
그거 한번 연주해 볼까요?
So maybe go from there. Yeah. Very, very good. I think it makes it much more interesting. Now, one more question. Fortissimo, it goes down to piano. There's a diminuendo. Every crescendo and every diminuendo in every piece is like a mountain or a hill, because every mountain or hill in the world is a different shape. So some hills are very, very shallow like this, and some come down like this. This one is that's a very steep descent. It's a very quick descent. Yeah, it's really shocking. It goes down to piano in 2 bars, and then later come back up to forte, but not fortissimo. So the one in 49 is not quite as big as the diminuendo in 45. They should be different. So try that. Try and give me an interesting mountain walk.
여기서부터 한번 연주해 볼까요?
Good, good. Just a tiny thing. I think probably the trill, I would start on the upper note, because it's an early Beethoven sonata. That's just a small thing. But more important than that is, do you know about sonata form?
Yes, I know.
Good. So where is the second subject? Where is the second theme?
두 번째 주제가 어디 있는 것 같아요?
No.
제시부에서 두 번째. 제시부에서.
It's that, isn't it? And it's very clever. It's the same. Same music, but transformed. So before the second theme comes, we just need to give ourselves a bit of time here. We just need time to breathe there. Yeah, so of course, when we play the piano, we forget to breathe. when we sing or when we play the violin, we have to move and do these things, but very important to give ourselves just as much space on the piano as another instrument. One thing you can do is, do you ever record yourself and listen to it back?
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite depressing sometimes, isn't it? Because sometimes I record myself and I think I'm doing a really big amount of time, and then I listen to it and I'm not doing anything. So I think if you play this and take a really shocking amount of time, you'll be surprised how good it will sound. Yeah, so try that at home, but try it once more now. Wait. Because you have to let all the sound clear and die away from the loudness of before. Yeah, you can still take 2 hours more. Good. Okay, good. There are 2 aspects to this personality as well. For me, it's very tender, and here I'm a little bit playful. And then this is in the minor, so this is tender but sad, different. So it's a very important difference. You know, it's only changing the 3rd finger by 1 millimeter, but it's a big emotional difference. So try play that a little bit more romantically, maybe. Yeah, if you can play quieter, that would be lovely. So same thing, I play really close to the key. Very quietly. Yeah, and when you play very high, because the strings are not so thick on the piano, you can use a little bit more pedal if you want. Normally we use less pedal when we're lower in the piano, and we can use more when we're at the top. Remember, the pedal is your best friend. Okay, all right, go from here.
같은 자리에서 시작해볼까요?
Right, here, at this place here, you've got to pretend to the audience that you've forgotten what's next. Just watch me for a second. So you have to be slightly shocked and then move. Because if you move early, then you spoil the surprise a bit.
해볼까요?
Try, yes. Good. And now, make those sforzandos different from each other. Right, okay, good. We're running a little bit out of time, but I'm just going to give you a challenge. Play the next 20 bars or so, and there are lots of sforzandos, and play them all differently. Good. When you look at that sometimes I look at my music away from the piano. I find that really useful because then it's much clearer and I'm not worrying about fingering and pedaling and all those sorts of things. And you'll be surprised to see in this page, also a lot of it is quiet. Yeah, a lot of these sforzandos are within a piano context. Yeah. Very, very quiet between the sforzandos. Anyway, it's been wonderful working with you. I think you're great. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Well played.
He said me too.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I wish we had longer time. Okay, so just play the exposition and we'll have a chat about that.
전개 보면 엑스포지션만 한번 연주해 볼게요.
Great, very, very good. Very, very good. Do you know that Beethoven often published things in groups of 3? And the first sonata, is very, very serious. And the second one is really eccentric, strange. So what's this one like? It's really different, isn't it?
그런 분위기를.
What do you want to do with this piece?
어떤 걸 해보고 싶어요? She wants to express the happiness, brightness, and the sadness.
Yeah, I think this is really like a big puppy dog that comes and bounds and jumps around and wants to play with you. It's very playful, it's very friendly. Yeah, it's quite funny because the beginning says one thing and then the next thing slightly different. It's like looking at the same thing from a different angle. So the point is bars 3 and 4 must sound different from bars 1 and 2. So this is the tonic going to the dominant, and then this is the dominant going back to the tonic. So it's a sort of interesting journey. Yeah, by the way, very good. The first bar is very difficult and you play it very well. Yeah. What fingering do you do? In the right hand. In the right hand.
오른손에는 1, 4, 1, 4번. Because she splits left hand and right hand for the thirds, the semiquavers.
Right. Place them in the left hand.
Yes.
Oh, very good idea. I think I will steal that idea from you. It's very good to find a different way and make it work. For example, I can't do 2, 4, 1, 3. I find that very difficult. So what I did 1, 5, 2, 4, which works well for me. But yeah, so I'm very glad you found a new way. Congratulations. Right, so then bar 3, I think the greatest performances of Beethoven sonatas are those which make us think of an orchestra. And I think bar 3, we have to transform into a string quartet. So you can hear the cello, viola, first and second violin. Yeah, and good string quartets play with vibrato. So were you listening to Sejun before, or were you in the room?
She was at the end of the film.
Oh, good, yeah, because I'm going to say some of the same things. You can use pedal for vibrato, and here, especially on those sforzandos. Right, so go from the beginning, make bar 1 and 2 different from bars 3 and 4, and then give me a string quartet. Yeah, good. It's a very important thing, and sorry I'm repeating myself to the audience, but Schoenberg invented a no accent sign, which is really important because we have so many signs for accents in music, but we don't have a no accent sign. To start that with no accent, start it closer to the key. This is how I play it. Close to the key. And that enables me to start it really quietly. Do you play the violin?
바이올린 연주하나요?
No, I don't either. But it's like starting with an up bow, not a down bow. So up bow you can begin very quietly. I can remember many years ago, it was in 1986, I heard Horowitz play in London. And he played Schubert Impromptu, and he played a crescendo on the first note, and I don't know how he did it, but he did. And of course, it's what he did with the pedal and the notes that surrounded it that made it feel that he was doing a crescendo, because of course this is physically impossible. So I want you to try and do a crescendo on this note. Good, good. Yeah, very important also in classical music, whenever we have a cadence, to do a good diminuendo. So be careful in bar 2, the second chord must be softer, and the same in bar 4, and here, there as well. Yeah, there.
여기에서도 종지가 나올 때 이 음을 작게 연주를 해야 되겠죠.
So try that, play the first eight bars and do all those 3 crescendos. Good, good, good. Just be careful here. But the right hand does a diminuendo, and the left hand is independent of the right hand. It's doing something different because it's doing a new idea. So I don't know, the parts dovetail. The right hand finishes, but the left hand starts at the same time. So it's quite difficult to do, but it will give us a 2-dimensional aspect. And just one more thing, when we have here, the first sforzando is on the beat, but then the next one is off beat. So there again, you have to achieve different sounds. One's like going down and the other's coming up. So different directions. I would play this downwards and then this one up. So you can do different gestures to create different effects. Yeah, okay, try from here. bar 8. Right, good. I think in the left hand, because we've got 4 sforzandos, do you want to play them all the same or do you want to do them differently?
She wants to change. She wants
What would you like to do?
뭘 하고 싶어요? The first one stronger.
And then?
Second one quieter.
Mm-hmm.
Third one. 세 번째는?
I'll tell you what, try this. Do the first one strong, like you say, and then a bit less, more to there. So the first one loud, and then start quiet, and then make them grow. Then that will make an interesting shape. Yeah, good. Then there's an interesting thing in bar 10. There's a sforzando in the left and the sforzando in the right on the second beat. Have you got that?
Yes.
So should they both be the same? Maybe not. Try more in the left hand because the bass is really the melody. So here's an unusual place really where we make the bass more and the right hand a bit quieter. So lead with the left hand. Right, were you pedaling on the sforzandos? Try. Yeah, it's sometimes very hard to tell a pedal on Zoom, but I think it will add warmth to the sound. Obviously, don't do too much. The best pedaling should be unnoticeable, but good string players, as I say, will play vibrato there. Always remember the important thing about the pedal is when you bring it off, it's important to put it down in the right place, but also important to take it off in the right place. So, I think there are only crotchet worths of pedal.
다시 한번 연주해 볼 수 있을까요?
Yeah, try. Yeah, good there. This place, this is a slightly dangerous place because it can easily sound a bit like a technical exercise. You know, we have to make it more interesting than that. So I get quite interested in, actually I'll play it to you in 2 different ways and see if you can tell any difference. This is not so good. Or this. I think that had better shape. Could you hear any difference?
저기 두
Do you
개의
know-
차이가 들리나요?
What I was doing was thinking across the beats. I'm just going to write that in because it's difficult to explain really. Can you see those lines there? Look.
여기 선이 보이나요? 두 개씩 묶은 선이 보이나요? 네.
If I just do diddle, it just sounds like a machine. But if I do dim ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum, so think between the beats across. It's almost a thinking thing, you know, rather than a doing thing. But it will sound different. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, and maybe when you get to the top, momentarily, just shortly go a bit quiet and then grow. Just a little bit, not too much. It mustn't be obvious. It must be a private. Yeah, good. Very good. Now, you and I know this piece, so that's perfectly fine. But for someone who's hearing it for the first time, if they listen to bar 19, they should be really shocked. Why?
우리가-
Because why would they be shocked in bar 19?
아,
What does
우리가
Beethoven do? It's a sudden change of harmony, a sudden change of direction. It's like you're driving along and suddenly the passenger grabs the steering wheel and makes you go somewhere else. We go to A minor and then there's accents in the left hand in bar 20. So something really shocking has to happen there. You have to get very interested in that left hand. So actually play slowly bar 19. And listen to all the harmonies and what happens to them. Now try, this is an interesting thing to practice. Play the left hand all with the thumb, just for practice. And then
연습을
appreciate the difficulty of it. So don't do that in a concert or a piano lesson. But why did I ask you to do that now?
Because she wants to bring the left hand melody out.
That's right. And think about all these intervals, a minor second, a minor third, a perfect fourth. They're all different. They've all got different things to say. And the really important one is when he makes us go to G sharp. And then when you're playing the right hand, don't do, think of, again, across the beat. So of course I would play it in time, but I'm thinking of it like this. That's how I'm thinking about it. So play it normally, but think about those things if you can. Yeah, you'll get that. It's difficult, but it's like cooking a sauce for a long time. It'll become richer and more interesting and more tasty. But you have to cook it slowly on the stove and not put it in the microwave. Yeah, good. Right. Okay. Let's go on.
가볼까요?
Good. Right. In the left hand, is every note equally interesting? Which ones are more interesting?
여기서부터 여기까지 해서 뭔가 더
I will.
흥미로워요.
This. Because I was doing too much. But the point is the melody, the thing which moves. That's more interesting than the G's. The G's are like a pedal point. Yeah, so play the left hand and try and make the thumb lighter for the G. Just left hand on its own. Yeah, good. Now, think of the orchestra again. Which instrument might you give that to, that melody?
Violin?
I would give it to the flute. I don't know why. I can just hear the flute in my mind.
플루트로 한번 플루트 생각이 난다고 하시네요.
And the thing about a flute, it's got to find every note. Sometimes when this is played on the piano, it sounds a bit like a glissando. So it's still got to be really articulated. And if you want to imitate a flute, I don't mind what you want to imitate, as long as you imitate something. Play it with slightly more pointed fingers. Then it will make it clearer. Good. Now, do you drive a car yet?
카약 좋아하나요?
Right. Okay. So, what happens to your car there? Empty. So you stop. Just completely stop. And then you're very sad after that. It's got to be rather a shocking stop. It's very unexpected. Yeah. So don't be too polite. Oh. And then off we go somewhere else. I'm sure it's Beethoven playing a joke on the audience, and then he does something completely different afterwards. Yeah, so try. So run out of petrol and then go somewhere else.
한번 해볼까요?
Yeah, and maybe in terms of theatre, don't prepare. Wait. And then move. Because if you move early, then it spoils the surprise, doesn't it? Yeah, and then when you play this is like a very beautiful memory lapse, and you sort of don't know where you are and don't know where you're going and can't find your way back, but just enjoying yourself. This lovely shape. Then here, maybe you're a little bit worried. And then you go wandering off again, and later, maybe here you find the petrol station. So try from, go from there. Good. Now, just a thought for here. I'm just going to play this for you in two different ways and see if you can hear the difference. Here's one way. Or this one. I hope they sound different.
Yeah.
Did you prefer which was better?
Second one.
Why?
Why? 왜요? She can hear the mood changes more.
The first one was very mechanical. I was using my fingers. Like that, vertical. The second one, I was trying to use my hand like a bow, like a violin bow. So try and make sure every note has a soft beginning, like a M and not a T. Actually, try that with this place here. Let's go from there and be really smooth. Right, so 47, between 47 and 50, which hand is more important?
어떤 소리 더 중요한 부분인 것 같아요? 47번에서 50마디까지? Both hands?
Very good, exactly. So be careful when in bar 48, perhaps the right hand slightly less, so the left hand more.
여기는?
So they are both important, but they're having a conversation and they're giving and taking a bit.
네, 한번 연주해 볼까요?
Yeah, it might be Zoom, but it sounds a little bit loud.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, and also, yeah, a Zoom. Sorry, dolce as well. What does dolce mean?
Sweet and soft.
Yeah, you can be sweeter, I think.
조금 더 부드럽게 한번 그럼 연주해 볼까요?
Yeah, I think I would move less. I think what you need to do is draw your audience in to listen to you. It is absolutely amazing when you play quietly. And do you know the pianist Stephen Huff? He's quite popular in Korea, I think. And when he played 2 years ago, he was doing his recital program all over the world in the biggest halls, and he started with this, with the quietest piece ever written. So there he was playing this to 3,000 people, and it was absolutely amazing, and nobody could breathe. So try and draw us in like that here. Good, good, good. Yeah. Which is easier to do, a crescendo or diminuendo?
Crescendo?
Yeah, so when you get to here, you do the crescendo very well, but make sure the diminuendo is as good as the crescendo. Right, just because of time, let's go from... Can you play from that place? Yeah, and make this is more of a battle, you know, the left hand is interrupting all the time. The left hand's always on the offbeat, and the left hand does very rude things, especially here. That's one of Beethoven's rudest notes. Yeah, okay, so enjoy the feeling of conflict.
한번 연주해 볼까요?
Yeah, we want different sounds. Don't play them the same. The D sharp is a real shock. You know, Beethoven, he was a very difficult person, and he was always being rude to his friends and falling out with them, and then he would apologize. Sorry. So he would apologize here, and then he'd start laughing again. So go from 73, be rude, apologize, and then laugh. Great, thank you so much. I wish we had more time, but I think we have to stop now. Well played. Thank you very much indeed.
잘했습니다. 오늘 수고했습니다.
Thank you. Pleasure. Bye. Well done. Well done.
자, 그러면 마지막 학생인 전수민 학생의 라벨 한번 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
Hello. Would you like to do one movement or a little bit on each movement, or what's good for you?
Okay, one movement in detail?
Which one?
어떤 거요? First movement, please.
Right. Maybe we'll do maybe do to the recapitulation, because it's a bit shorter, this piece.
Sure.
Oh, sorry. Go from the beginning.
그럼
Until
처음부터
yeah, sorry. Up until the recapitulation. Sorry. Great, thank you very much. Thank you. Lovely, very good playing.
아주 잘 연주했다고 합니다.
I always find Ravel really interesting because we've been talking about Beethoven and we feel we know what Beethoven was like as a person. But Ravel is very strange because he was a very private person. He had very few friends, very few relationships. He was interested in clocks and Swiss mechanical jewelry. And I feel in his music, even though it's immediately his own language and beautiful, we don't know very much about the person. So I'm wondering if say when we play Chopin, we play him with great warmth and expression. With Ravel, it says expressif in the first bar, but maybe we can play it with a slightly different sort of maybe detached expression, maybe like wearing a mask. Yeah, so I think not less expressive, but differently expressive. And every composer has their own sound world, don't they? And this is very crystalline and very clear. And here, you know, Ravel, it's amazing, isn't it? Because if we do everything he says, everything works perfectly. So, for example, when he writes a tempo, it's very important not to do a writ before he asks for it, because otherwise it spoils the writ. Because if you do it exactly in the right place, then it will have an amazing effect. So try the beginning, just as expressive, but with a sort of detached. Maybe not sort of inwardly expressive, something like this. And it's difficult, you play it very well, but can you make the accompaniment any quieter? Also, how many melodies are there at the beginning?
4?
I think 2. I was going to say I'm just as interested in the bottom one. It's very strange and unusual effect, and we will hear the top one because it's higher. So I get a bit more interested in the lower part. Do you know any of Ravel's orchestral music?
La valse?
Sorry?
La valse?
Yeah, oh, it's amazing. Yeah. And, you know, Mother Goose and all sorts of things. A beautiful orchestration, amazing. So orchestrate here. This is maybe a flute, and this is maybe a bassoon, and these are tremolando strings. So I would try and play these with pointed fingers, and then these with as flat fingers as possible. It's very difficult, but you play it very well, so I think you maybe can. So maybe as there was a lot to think about, try it a little bit slower for now. Good. Okay, but I was talking a lot about dynamics before and crescendos and things. If you notice the beginning is piano, the later it's pianissimo, and there's a huge crescendo from pianissimo to MF in just 2 bars. So it's a really steep one. So every crescendo is a bit like a mountain or a hill, and they're all different, all different shapes. And so the first one goes up a little way, but the next one, it's really quite impatient, quite passionate. But passionate in a detached way, of course. Right, okay, try those. You could try in tempo now. Good, lovely. Yeah, I thought that the crescendo was great. It might be zoomed, but I couldn't hear much difference between piano and pianissimo. So don't start too quiet, because if you start too quiet, then you can't go any further. Yeah, very good. A lot of that was really good. Then notice dynamic. Forte. This is more than mezzo forte, so it goes higher at that point. So why don't we go from PP subito from the second time and then go up to forte, and these if you were orchestrating these, who would you give this to?
Harp?
Yeah, absolutely. So, can you play the harp?
No, she
I
can.
can't either. I would love to. It's beautiful, isn't it? But I love the feeling of all that gesture. So do that on the piano. Yeah, have a nice time.
여기서 수비토에서 한번 시작할게요.
Good, good. So yes, enjoy the harp, and then when you do a row, I think you can take a bit more time over it because it's only a small space of time. It's only over a crotchet, isn't it? So make more of it. And you know, this piece is in sonata form, of course. Yes, this is our second theme. So we just need a bit of time before it, just to clear the air. We have to get rid of all the perfume from the harp before we can do the second theme. So maybe do you want to go from just go from before the harp again.
저기서 시작해 볼게요.
I still think there's room for a lot more time. No hurry. If you're enjoying yourself, then you don't want it to end, do you? Yeah, and this is a completely different sound world. Who would be in your orchestra here? And there's no correct answer. What you think might be different from me, and I'm very happy about that.
오보에?
Sorry?
오보에?
Yeah, oboe. I completely agree. So play it with pointed finger. And who are these people? Who are they? Can be anything. For me, it's strings, lower strings. So oboe and then violas or something. So I play the top part with pointed finger and the lower part with flat finger again.
여기도 마찬가지로 멜로디는
So you have two-dimensional sound worlds. Right, good. Now we can see that Ravel was very obsessive because he wrote 7 diminuendos, 1 in every bar. So to make that happen, we have to start the beginning louder. Just a little bit.
조금만요.
Good. It's very hard not to do a rit before he asks for one, isn't it?
네, 조금 어렵죠. 그래도. 네.
It's slightly inhuman, actually, isn't it? Because I want to do one as well, but try and make yourself not, and then it'll feel really interesting. You almost managed it, but I could still hear you wanting to do one a bit. But I think try not to do one, and then there's a rit. It only lasts for 1 bar, so you have to do a lot. So. 10. And then this is 3 Ps. It's very, very soft, isn't it? Do you use soft pedal there? You could do.
She doesn't.
I don't think he
음.
doesn't write any soft pedal markings, does he? Or does he? I think find special places for it, and you can do it. Here it's got to be really, really distant. And for me, in the left hand, who is that? Who is
저건
that?
어떤 악기일까요? cello?
For me, horn. Horn. So just sort of play it, lazy thumb, play like a horn. And these are, oh, I know, that the right hand are strings, but with mutes on. They're very quiet. And that would be a good reason to use soft pedal.
그리고 소프트 패드를 한번 밟아볼게요.
So per retinue, that means held back. Then you've got a ral and then long. So I think you can be really long. And then back in tempo. So it's really like a huge question mark. It's very clever, but what he wrote, but it works perfectly. So here's a question for you. Who's the most important person in this Zoom meeting now?
지금 우리가 악보를 보면 답을 다 알 수 있잖아요. 근데 라벨을 제외하고 이 방에서 가장 중요한 사람은 누구일까요?
None of us, it's Ravel. So Ravel is on Zoom with us as well. He's checking out what we are doing. So he's making sure you do a long pause, okay? So try it. Good. Yeah, it's quite hard to do the a tempo, but you did it very well. Who are these? What people are they? For me, Chinese cymbal, Chinese bell. So play it like a bell. Yeah. Okay, let's do second time bar. Second time bar. That's very important. That G natural, that darkness.
그 G 내추럴 그솔 그의 아주 어두움을 좀 표현해 줬으면 좋겠어요.
So maybe these are perhaps bells as well. Yeah, again, very good. This is quite difficult. It's surprisingly uncomfortable, isn't it? I think very useful is to try and play the right hand near the lid of the, here look, right near the lid.
건반 끝까지 옮겨보면 조금 도움이 될 수도 있을 거예요.
And that gives you more room.
왼손이 연주할 때 공간을 좀 더 줄 수 있으니까요.
And the left hand as near to the edge of the key as possible. I think this is a very useful thing we can all think about because keyboard geography is such an interesting thing, and it's such an obvious thing. We forget that the black keys are shorter than the white. So, for example, in all sorts of places, in the pathétique. Where do I play on the key? And if you play near the lid on the black one, it's much easier. So we can think about, all of us can think about it in all of our pieces. And normally I have to tell most people about that in the first few bars of this piece, but I didn't have to tell you because you played it very well already. Yeah. Right. Okay. So try this middle bit. Right, okay. Remember, Ravel is on Zoom with us, and he wrote piano and then mezzo forte, no crescendo. Suddenly MF. Yeah, so the MF has got to be a real shock. Maybe that was too much, but better too much than too little. Good. A lot of that was very, very good. I wonder if you can still do more crescendo between MF and the forte. Yeah, and the forte is quite difficult to do because it's all very high and there aren't many notes. We still have to make a very deep sound. So you have to use your whole body to play that. The whole body weight. Good, right. PP now. This is like being on the bottom of the seabed with a sort of shipwreck and sort of an old bell on the bed of the sea. And then suddenly it rises up. There's a crescendo just for 2 bars and then it gets bigger.
여기서 점점 이제 떠올라서 여기 크레센도를 느낄 수 있도록. And isn't it funny that in the loudest moment of this whole movement, Ravel gives us the fewest notes possible. Yeah, the loudest note is, there's nothing there, so we have to make a very, very deep sound. I think here, these are quite interesting bells. Maybe these ones can come up. And then those ones can go down. And then you can diminuendo perhaps a little bit earlier. 디미누엔도를 조금 더 일찍 한번 시작해 줄 수 있나요? 이쯤에서 할 것 같은데.
It was just a bit of an emergency.
한번 해볼까요?
Okay, good. Do you want to just start one of the other movements just for 5 minutes? Second or third, whichever you like.
몇 악장이 좋으세요? Second movement?
Okay. Right. Just a thought for this. in bar 3, the right hand is quite difficult. So play the bottom note of the right hand in the left hand. So D flat, C, B flat. Take them in the left hand, play them with the chords.
여기 코드에서 여기 이거만 왼손으로 한번 쳐볼 수 있을까요?
So bar 3, I play the left hand like this.
한번 연주해볼까요?
And then the right hand has, it's much easier to control the melody without playing all those extra notes.
오른손, 네.
I can show you on. There's my score. Look, I don't know if you can see. Can you see that?
Yes. 여기 보면은 요 밑에 있죠. 오른손의 제일 밑에 음을 엄지, 왼손 엄지로 치는 거예요. 왼손 엄지로. 네, 네. 그러면 오른손이 조금 더 컨트롤하기 쉽겠죠. 멜로디를. 네, 네.
Yeah. You weren't doing that already, were you?
She said it's good tip.
Yes, good. Yes. It's useful, and it just makes it easier to control the sound. So yeah, you can always change things like that.
항상 언제든 바꿔볼 수 있으니까 네, 왼손 오른손 이렇게 큰 갭이 나올 때는 왼손으로도 한번 연주할 수 있고 그렇게 이제 융통성 있게 한번 해보면 좋을 것 같아요.
There are all sorts of terrible secrets I do, so I'm not going to tell you all of them.
이런 식으로 약간 그런 페이크 이런 것들이 좀 있으신데 다 알려주진 않으실 거라고 하시네요.
But the one famous example is Richter. You know, he was the greatest pianist on the planet, and when he played Beethoven's first sonata, when it comes in the development, it's and he divided it. So if he can do it, then I think we can. So I think we always need to do things like that to make life easier for ourselves, and there's always a different way. Just for all of us, every single piece I play, I can promise you I know what fingering I'm doing on every note. I don't necessarily write it in, and there's no right fingering because your hand's different from my hand. Also, interestingly, in these editions, the text, the fingering is often very bad. So always regard fingering as like you read the newspapers. It's advice, not necessarily true. Yeah. Anyway, try the first 8 bars.
첫 8마디를 한번 연주해 볼게요.
And don't worry about the fingering now. Again, always do your expression through the sound, but maybe not through the rubato, because this is a minuet, which is an 18th century courtly dance where everyone is in sort of costume. So again, the emotion is sort of distant and private. And just one important thing, in the left hand, that bar, there's a rest. So I think don't pedal over that rest because it's like a breath of oxygen. Yeah. Do you want to just try that? Go from here and try and be slightly dispassionate. Good, and then continue, like Chinese bells again. Maybe like a cat. Yeah, it's like a big bell festival. There's that. All different sounds and different strokes. Cat, sustained, and then bell.
여기서 이제 벨 축자라고 한번 생각을 해보시면 여기도 벨, 여기도 벨, 여기도 벨. 근데 이거는 쭉 이렇게 이어질 수 있도록 얘도 여기서 이제 슬러 타이니까 이어질 수 있도록. 네.
So have you been to cinema? Three-dimensional cinema is more interesting than one-dimensional cinema, isn't it?
뭐죠? 3D 한번 가보셨어요? 그 영화관? 가보셨어요? Yes, she has been to.
Yeah. Okay, try it.
네.
Yeah, good, good. And there are lots of beautiful sounds there. And do you like chocolate?
초콜릿 좋아하세요? Yes, she does.
Yeah, so it's like swimming in chocolate. You know, you can have a very nice time. Yeah, just enjoy.
네.
Right, so I think we've probably run out of time, haven't we? So
Yeah.
thank you very, very much. It's very nice to work with you and well played.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
감사합니다. So can you say something before you leave to the pianists and the audiences here?
Yes, I really wish I was with you in person, but second best to be on Zoom. But it's been really great to work with three talented pianists who normally I have so many things to say, and I didn't have to say them because they're already very good and very, very well prepared and very quick to pick up on new ideas. But I think always to think of the imagination aspect of playing is the most important thing, to turn the piano into an orchestra, to think of what is possible, what might be possible, go beyond the notes on the page, look what's behind them and look what's between them. And I'm always amazed at your country because you produce so many extraordinary pianists, don't you? They're always in the piano competitions and things, and long may that continue.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you know, I can come and visit you one day again, and that would be marvelous.
Of course.
It's been a real pleasure.
Very soon. So, 그래서 아주 긴 스피치였지만 짧게 얘기하면은 아주 한국에는 또 훌륭한 피아니스트도 많고 여기는 세 명의 피아니스트, 훌륭한 피아니스트들과 같이 이제 마스터 클래스를 하게 돼서 너무나 이제 기뻤다고 하시면서 나중에는 한국에도 한번 실제로 오셨으면 좋겠다고도 말씀하시네요. 네, 너무 고생 많으셨고요. 우리 피아니스트들 그리고 마스터 클래스를 봐주신 그 관객분들께서도 너무 감사드리고 좋은 시간 보내셨길 바랍니다. Thank you so much, James. Thank you.
Pleasure, Claire. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye. Well done, everybody. Bye.